Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. Thanks for being there. And Fiona, thank you for your kind comments and your acknowledgement of the various events. Good to see you there. Appreciate that. And Andrew, your again provocations and thoughts. Good to have those. I thought a couple of the things there were a bit of non sequitur, but still, I'm not so worried about the niche as you seem to be. I think there's that sort of that specialism, that focus, is what I was trying to imply in previous conversation, is that it's harder to uncover the new, and so that focus and that detail does require, and so the nerd specialism is required, but having said that, obviously you've got to be concerned about reductionism too much, and then not the non-connectivity, which then invalidates that sort of detail, which is hence your recognition of the Mandelbrot analogy and the fact that it's, they're all human constructions. And it reminded me of Stuart Isacoff's book Temperament, because his questions our perception of what harmony is, and this relates to a couple of other things that I came across over the last couple of days. One was Barry Smith's conversation about wine. The other one was J.K. Rowling talking with Stephen Fry. And so how these connected? Well, Stuart Isacoff's book, Temperament, talks about how our perception of music is informed by our physicality, the human experience, i.e., what wavelengths we can hear, our hearing, and then the musical instruments we've designed is related to span of the hand, and then tuning. And so the perception that there's this sort of natural order of harmony, he brings into question, and I use this sort of during Beauty and the Beast. And prior to that, it sort of informed a number of things, a music curation. So, there's humanity in that, and there's no doubt to recognise it. But we very quickly, egocentrically assume that these laws, and through our limits of perception, are defining. Now, we do need them, obviously, again, as Andrew has acknowledged, otherwise the chaos without these constructions, we just wouldn't function. So we do need to recognise when they exist and how to operate with them. That's the laws of physics, really. So the Barry Smith interview was him discussing his tasting wine, and Barry was a guest with us at the Art Bar, thanks to Bruce, and he was talking about tasting wine, and he raised the question of whether there was objective taste. Now, I've purposely stayed away from investigating taste so far. It's a tricky subject, but because some of the things I've been saying are not to do with genre and taste, in my opinion. Anyway, it was interesting to see Barry talking about whether there is objective taste, in so much that you can taste a wine and it have certain characteristics, and whether there is a detachment between you tasting it and a consistency of the chemicals. I mean, obviously the relationship between the chemicals and the experience. And if there wasn't an objective taste, then how could you then acquire it, and how can you then develop it? And I thought that was, and he talks about Heraclitus in that, and I thought that, you know, that knowledge, that how do you then come to it? And part of that was the experience of somebody with an insight into the appreciation of it. It might be not something that you're expecting, but pointing out to you that thing, I think it was bitter almonds or something, that somebody was saying, did you notice that? And as soon as they mentioned it, he could identify it. And so therefore his appreciation changed, because somebody had helped him perceive the world with their knowledge. And I thought that was a good recognition, really. And the other thing was J.K. Rowling talking about her creation of, well, Stephen Fry was investigating these fantastic beasts, and you know, the fact that it was very much a narrative-driven thing and a fantasy-driven thing. But what I thought was interesting is that J.K. Rowling acknowledged that it's really difficult to come up with a new beast, i.e. the one that hasn't been found in nature or hasn't been generated by man before. And that, again, reasserts for me that new form is so difficult and hard to do. Anyway, have a good day, and thanks again. Thanks very much for contributing. Bye.